As men cross the milestone of 60 and beyond, many begin to notice changes in their bodies that can feel both confusing and frustrating, especially when it comes to sexual health and performance, because erections, once taken for granted, may start to become less firm, less frequent, or simply harder to achieve. And while some blame this on the unavoidable march of time, the reality is far more nuanced. Because what a man eats plays a crucial and often underestimated role in determining his vascular health, hormonal balance, and overall ability to maintain strong, lasting erections. And what's especially important to understand is that not all foods affect the body equally, and certain common dietary choices can silently sabotage the very processes that support erectile function, particularly as the body ages. And this means that for men over 60 who want to maintain or regain their sexual vitality, learning to identify and avoid these problematic foods can be a game changer. A simple but powerful step toward reclaiming confidence, pleasure, and intimacy without immediately turning to medications or invasive treatments. And the reason these foods are so impactful is because they contribute to a cascade of physiological effects that directly impair blood flow, hormone production, and nerve function, all of which are essential for achieving and sustaining an erection. And while it might be tempting to dismiss diet as a minor factor, the truth is that the health of the arteries, veins, and microscopic capillaries within the penis is absolutely dependent on what circulates through the bloodstream. And when that circulation is compromised by poor nutrition, the consequences become painfully obvious. And the first food group to avoid, and one that surprises many men, is anything high in trans fats and hydrogenated oils, commonly found in many processed snacks, fried foods, and commercially baked goods, which are known to promote inflammation and damage the lining of blood vessels, making them less flexible and more prone to clogging, which restrict blood flow not just in the heart and brain, but critically in the penile tissues. And because erections rely on a rapid and robust increase in blood flow, even subtle impairments can reduce the firmness and duration of an erection. And beyond trans fats, these unhealthy oils also interfere with hormone synthesis, disrupting testosterone production and signaling pathways that contribute to libido and sexual function. And what makes this especially challenging for older men is that these trans fats accumulate over time, quietly eroding vascular health and hormonal balance without immediate symptoms. So by the time erectile issues arise, significant damage may already have occurred. Yet the good news is that by eliminating these harmful fats and replacing them with healthy fats like omega-3s found in fatty fish, flax seeds, and walnuts, men can begin to reverse some of this damage and support both vascular and hormonal health. And the second food group to steer clear of is excessive amounts of refined sugars and simple carbohydrates, which are rampant in sugary drinks, candies, white bread, and many packaged foods. And these sugars cause rapid spikes in blood glucose, leading to insulin resistance and chronic inflammation, which in turn contribute to endothelial dysfunction, a condition where the inner lining of blood vessels can no longer properly regulate dilation and contraction, essential functions for achieving an erection. And because the endothelial cells produce nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels and allows blood to fill the penis, their dysfunction severely limits erectile capability. And what's more, chronic high sugar intake also contributes to weight gain, especially around the abdomen, which is linked to lower testosterone levels and increased risk of metabolic syndrome, both of which negatively impact sexual health. And this vicious cycle makes sugar a silent but powerful enemy of erections after 60, often hidden in foods that don't taste overtly sweet but cause the same harmful blood sugar fluctuations. So men who want to protect their sexual health need to learn to identify and minimize these hidden sugars, replacing them with complex carbohydrates and fiber-rich foods that support steady blood sugar levels and reduce inflammation. And finally, the third food to avoid, which many don't realize, is excessive alcohol consumption, particularly binge drinking or regular heavy drinking, which disrupts hormone levels, impairs liver function, and causes dehydration, all of which contribute to poorer erectile quality. And while moderate alcohol may not be harmful and sometimes even offers cardiovascular benefits, going beyond moderation can tip the balance into a zone where blood vessels constrict rather than relax. Testosterone production drops, and neurological signaling slows, reducing libido and erectile function. And for men over 60, whose bodies process alcohol more slowly and less efficiently, these effects are magnified, meaning that drinking habits that once seemed harmless now become significant barriers to sexual vitality. And combined with the sedative effects that impair sleep quality, alcohol can further exacerbate fatigue and low energy, making it even harder to sustain sexual activity. And the good news is that by cutting back or eliminating these three food groups, trans fats, refined sugars, and excessive alcohol, older men can create an internal environment that supports rather than sabotages their ability to have strong, reliable erections. And while this may sound like a strict or restrictive approach, it's really about prioritizing foods that fuel the body's natural systems and honoring the intimate connection between diet and sexual health. And in the following parts, we'll explore practical strategies to make these dietary changes easier, alternatives that satisfy cravings without damage, and the surprising benefits men notice when they commit to these adjustments. Because restoring erectile health after 60 is not just about avoiding mistakes, but about embracing a new, nourishing lifestyle that brings energy, confidence, and joy back into the bedroom and beyond. Continuing from understanding the importance of avoiding harmful foods for erectile health after 60, it's essential to delve deeper into why these specific foods cause such significant damage. Because the body is a complex system where diet influences everything from blood vessel elasticity to hormone production and nerve sensitivity. And when men consume large amounts of trans fats, the consequences are far-reaching, beginning with chronic inflammation, which is a root cause of many age-related health issues, including erectile dysfunction. And inflammation caused by trans fats leads to the production of harmful molecules that damage the endothelial lining of blood vessels, reducing their ability to dilate, which is crucial during sexual arousal, when blood must flood the penile tissue quickly and forcefully. And this damage is not reversible overnight. In fact, it can take weeks or months of improved diet and lifestyle changes to begin to see meaningful recovery, which makes prevention and consistency paramount. And the reality is that many processed foods marketed as healthy or low-fat contain hidden trans fats or hydrogenated oils. So reading labels carefully becomes an essential skill for men over 60 looking to protect their sexual health, while simultaneously prioritizing foods rich in healthy fats like olive oil, avocados, and nuts, which support cardiovascular function and hormone synthesis, particularly testosterone, which naturally declines with age, but can be better preserved through proper nutrition. And when we shift focus to sugar and refined carbohydrates, the problem is equally complex because these foods create spikes and crashes in blood sugar levels that force the pancreas to produce excessive insulin, leading over time to insulin resistance, a precursor to type 2 diabetes. And diabetes itself is one of the leading causes of erectile dysfunction in older men, as it damages both blood vessels and nerves. And because sugar also promotes systemic inflammation, it exacerbates vascular damage, reducing nitric oxide availability and leading to harder to achieve erections. And what's more, excess sugar intake often correlates with weight gain, especially visceral fat around the abdomen, which further disrupts hormonal balance by increasing the conversion of testosterone into estrogen, lowering libido and vitality. And for men who may already be struggling with weight or metabolic health, cutting out refined sugars and replacing them with whole foods like vegetables, legumes, and whole grains can lead to improved blood sugar control and a natural boost in sexual function. And this is not about deprivation, but about nourishing the body with what it truly needs to thrive. And finally, alcohol, while socially accepted and often enjoyed, is a double-edged sword when it comes to sexual health after 60. Because even moderate drinking can interfere with the delicate balance of hormones and neurotransmitters that govern arousal and erection, and heavy drinking can impair liver function, which is vital for hormone metabolism and detoxification, leading to a buildup of toxins that can affect energy levels, mood, and sexual desire. And because alcohol is a diuretic, it promotes dehydration, which reduces blood volume and makes it more difficult for the vascular system to deliver sufficient blood to the penile tissue. And the sedative effects of alcohol can reduce REM sleep, the phase when testosterone production peaks, compounding the problem. And men over 60 often find that their tolerance for alcohol decreases, meaning the negative effects become more pronounced even with smaller amounts. And this creates a vicious cycle where alcohol use intended to relax or enhance intimacy actually undermines the very function it's supposed to support. So reducing alcohol intake or abstaining altogether, especially on days when sexual activity is planned, can have a dramatic impact on erectile quality and overall health. And the encouraging part is that by eliminating these three groups, trans fats, refined sugars, and excessive alcohol, men don't just see improvements in erections, but also experience increased energy, better mood, and reduced inflammation throughout the body. And as they begin to replace these foods with nutrient-dense alternatives, such as leafy greens, lean proteins, healthy fats, and antioxidant-rich fruits, they start a virtuous cycle of healing that supports sexual health and longevity. And while changing lifelong eating habits can feel overwhelming, especially later in life, the key is to approach it with patience, small, consistent steps, and an understanding that every positive choice moves the body closer to optimal function. And in the next parts, practical tips will be shared on how to identify hidden sources of these damaging foods, delicious substitutions to satisfy cravings, and easy lifestyle shifts to maintain these changes for the long term. Because the journey to stronger erections after 60 is not just about what to avoid, but about embracing a new way of eating and living that respects and nurtures the aging body, allowing men to reclaim not only their sexual vitality, but also their overall health, confidence, and quality of life in this vibrant chapter of their journey. As men over 60 begin to make these crucial dietary adjustments and avoid the foods that silently undermine their sexual health, it becomes clear that the benefits extend well beyond just improved erections. Because the body is an interconnected system where vascular health, hormonal balance, nerve function, and psychological well-being all intertwine to create the experience of sexual vitality. And the three foods we've discussed, trans fats, refined sugars, and excessive alcohol, each damage these systems in unique but overlapping ways, making their elimination a foundational step toward reclaiming confidence and pleasure. And what many men discover as they shift away from these harmful foods is that their energy levels increase, their moods stabilize, and they sleep more deeply, all of which play critical roles in supporting sexual function, because testosterone production, blood vessel elasticity, and neural responsiveness are heavily influenced by sleep quality and mental health. And chronic inflammation caused by poor diet can disrupt all of these areas. So reducing inflammatory foods not only improves erections, but also contributes to overall wellness and longevity. And this holistic improvement in health often results in men feeling more motivated to engage in physical activity, which further enhances blood flow, cardiovascular fitness, and hormone production, creating a positive feedback loop that amplifies the benefits of dietary change. And it's important too. Recognize that while avoiding certain foods is necessary, it's equally important to embrace a diet rich in whole, nutrient-dense foods that support erectile health and general vitality, such as leafy green vegetables rich in nitrates that naturally boost nitric oxide levels, fatty fish high in omega-3s that reduce inflammation and improve endothelial function, and foods high in zinc and magnesium, which are essential for testosterone synthesis and nerve function, and many men find that simple. Additions like these help counterbalance the effects of aging and provide a solid foundation for sexual health, while also supporting heart health, brain function, and immune resilience. And it's no coincidence that many of the foods beneficial for erections after 60 are also those that promote healthy aging overall, underscoring the intimate link between sexual function and total body wellness. And as men incorporate these positive dietary changes, they also often notice improvements in other areas such as weight management, digestion, and mental clarity, all of which contribute to a better quality of life and a more fulfilling experience of intimacy. And while the physical improvements are certainly encouraging, the psychological impact is just as significant, because sexual confidence often fades as men experience dysfunction, leading to anxiety, embarrassment, or avoidance of intimacy. But as erectile function improves through diet and lifestyle changes, men report a return of self-esteem, increased desire, and a renewed willingness to connect emotionally and physically with their partners, which further strengthens relationships and deepens satisfaction. And this holistic restoration highlights that sexual health after 60 is not a lost cause, but a journey of renewal that respects the natural changes of aging while supporting the body's inherent capacity to heal and thrive. And it's important to emphasize that these changes don't happen overnight, but through consistent, intentional effort, and that even small victories, like choosing a handful of nuts over a processed snack or opting for water instead of sugary drink, accumulate to create meaningful transformation. And by committing to this path, men not only improve their erections, but also contribute to their overall health span, the length of time they remain healthy and active, which is one of the most valuable gifts in later life. And as awareness grows about the impact of diet on sexual function, more men are empowered to take control of their health without fear or shame, supported by a growing body of research and expert recommendations that underline the importance of nutrition in maintaining erectile strength. And as this knowledge spreads, it becomes clear that strong erections after 60 are not a matter of luck or genetics alone, but of conscious choices and daily habits. And for those willing to take these steps, the reward is not only a return to satisfying intimacy, but a revitalized sense of self, energy, and joy that permeates every aspect of life, reminding men that age is not a barrier, but a new chapter filled with potential. And as this journey continues into the final segment, we will explore practical meal ideas, simple recipes, and daily routines that make avoiding these harmful foods easy and enjoyable, ensuring that the path to stronger erections is both sustainable and rewarding. As we bring this conversation about the 3 foods to avoid for stronger erections after 60 to a close, it's crucial to emphasize that while eliminating trans fats, refined sugars, and excessive alcohol can seem like a daunting lifestyle change at first, the benefits far outweigh the initial challenges because the human body has an extraordinary ability to heal and regenerate when given the right conditions. And for men over 60, this means that the damage caused by years of poor dietary choices can be gradually reversed, allowing blood vessels to regain flexibility, hormone levels to stabilize, and nerve sensitivity to improve, which collectively restores the natural mechanisms that produce strong, lasting erections, and the ripple effect of these improvements touches every aspect of life, not just intimacy, bringing greater energy, improved mood, better sleep, and an overall sense of well-being. And it's important to recognize that this process is not about perfection or deprivation, but about making mindful choices that honor your body's needs and support your goals. So start by identifying hidden sources of trans fats and sugars in processed foods, reading labels carefully, and replacing them with whole, nutrient-rich options that provide sustained energy and support vascular health, such as colorful vegetables, nuts, seeds, lean proteins, and healthy fats like olive oil and avocado. And remember that moderation is key when it comes to alcohol, aiming for limited or no consumption on days when intimacy is anticipated to ensure optimal hydration and hormone balance. And building these habits gradually makes them sustainable and enjoyable, especially when paired with simple, delicious recipes that keep meals flavorful and satisfying. And don't underestimate the power of hydration, regular physical activity, and stress management practices like meditation or gentle yoga, because these elements work synergistically with diet to support erectile health. And men who embrace this holistic approach often report not just improved erections, but a renewed zest for life and intimacy, which reinforces their commitment to health and well-being. It's also worth noting that open communication with partners about these changes can enhance emotional intimacy, reduce anxiety, and create a shared journey toward better sexual health, which strengthens relationships in powerful ways. And for those who may feel overwhelmed or unsure where to start, consulting with healthcare providers or nutritionists who specialize in male sexual health can provide personalized guidance and reassurance, ensuring that dietary changes align with individual health conditions and medications, because safety and balance are paramount, especially in later life. And as more men learn about the impact of diet on erectile function, the stigma and silence surrounding male sexual health begin to fade, replaced by a culture of empowerment, education, and proactive self-care. And this shift not only benefits individual men, but also their families and communities by fostering healthier, happier relationships and more vibrant aging. And so the key takeaway is clear. Strong, reliable erections after 60 are absolutely achievable through intentional lifestyle choices, starting with avoiding the 3 silent killers: trans fats, refined sugars, and excessive alcohol, and embracing a nourishing, balanced diet that supports vascular health, hormone production, and nerve function. And when combined with supportive habits like exercise, hydration, and stress reduction, men unlock a level of vitality and intimacy that enriches their golden years beyond measure, transforming not only their sexual experiences, but their entire quality of life. And as you reflect on this, remember that every small step you take toward better nutrition and self-care is a step toward reclaiming confidence, pleasure, and connection, proving that age is truly just a number in that your best years of intimacy and health are still very much ahead. So make that commitment today. Nourish your body with intention, and watch as your vitality, strength, and joy flourish, empowering you to live fully, love deeply, and enjoy every moment with the vigor and passion you deserve.